So for a problem like this, the goal is that we want to convert feet to inches. So the way we set it up is we always write out how many and what unit we start with. And we need to understand that our final goal is to have something in terms of inches. So now you need to set up a fraction in such a way that the feet will cancel out and we will result in inches. So to cancel out feet, since it's up here in the numerator, feet is also going to have to be down here in the denominator to cancel. And then to form inches, we're going to need inches in the numerator, which is what we result in. So when we're looking at finding the relationship between inches and feet, we can look up here. It's saying 1 foot is 12 inches. So if I multiply 18 by 12, I get 216 inches. Now let's look at going from miles to inches. So I'll write out what I start with. Okay. We want to result in inches. But if we look up here, there's no direct traveling from miles to inches. So let's do what we can first. We can first go from miles to yards. And since I want to cancel out miles and end up with yards, and then we can then go from yards to feet to cancel out yards, and then we can go from feet to inches. So you see everything cancels out and we result in inches. So now we just need to write in the appropriate values. So 3 foot is 1 yard and 1 foot is 12 inches. So we're going to have to multiply across the top here. So we're going to multiply 4 times 1,760 times 3 times 12, which is going to result in quite a large number, but it is 253,440 inches. Next up, we're looking at converting 220 inches into yards, feet, and inches. So again, just remember, yards is 36 inches, feet is 12 inches, and then we're going to take whatever's left over, and that'll be the leftover inches. So the goal is always convert to the largest of the units and then backtrack. Okay? So the largest of the units is yards. So let's start by converting inches to yards, which again, there's no direct relationship, but if you remember that 36 inches is 1 yard, you could use that, or you could use these two combined. So I'm going to take 220 and divide it by 36 to get 6.111 yards. So that's saying we have 6 full yards and then some leftover. So we're going to take the leftover amount of yards and we are going to convert that into the next largest unit, which in this case is going to be feet. So there's 3 feet in every yard. So I'm going to multiply the 0.1111 and make sure to leave yourself lots of decimal places by 3. So we're going to get 0.33. That continues on feet. So we have 0 feet. And then again, we're going to take what's left over. And we're going to convert the feet into inches, which is 12 inches per foot. So I'm going to multiply this value by 12 to get 4. So we end up getting, right down here, we'll have 6 yards and 4 inches. Now we'll look at doing some applications. So the Students' Council has 6 yards of fabric that will be cut into 5-inch strips to make decorative banners. How many banners can be made? So the first goal is these are not in the same unit. So we need to convert either one into yards or this into inches. So I'm going to change 6 yards into inches. So we need to cancel out yards and end up with inches. And there's 36 inches in 1 yard. So I'll multiply 6 by 36 to get 216 inches. And then we know that each banner is going to take 5 inches to create. So I'm going to divide this by 5 to figure out how many of those banners I could make. So it's giving me 43.2 banners. but I cannot have a 0.2 of a banner. So really I can create 43 banners. And then the last problem we'll work on is just looking at a scale. So it's saying the map of Alaska has a scale of 1 to 4,750,000. The distance on the map between Paxton and the Canadian border is 3 and 11/16 inches. What is the distance to the nearest mile? So we could always start by changing 3 and 11/16 inches into a mixed fraction and even into a decimal. So just a reminder, if you're looking at trying to create this into a mixed fraction, you multiply 3 times 16 and then you add 11. So 3 times 16 is 48, and if I add 11, that's 59/16, which I can rewrite as even a fraction, sorry, as a decimal, 3.6875 inches. So when I measure directly on the map, that's the distance. But we're saying every inch on the map is this many inches in real life. So I can take this value and multiply it by the scale that's been given to figure out how many inches it would be in real life. So let me multiply this by 4,750,000, and I get this large number, which makes sense. It's going to be a large distance of inches. Okay? So what is the distance in miles? So I currently have it in inches, but we need to convert these inches into miles. Okay? So let's see, I'm going to go back to those conversions on another page. So we have a relationship between miles and yards, yards and feet, and then feet and inches. So let me just copy this and I'll bring it onto our page. So we can start by going inches to feet because there's 12 inches in 1 foot. And then if you do remember the relationship between feet and yards, that is 3 to 1. Sorry, 3 feet is 1 yard. And then the last one is going to be yards to miles. So we need to convert it to yards to get to miles. So 1 mile is 1,760 yards. So really we're going to be taking this large value, we're dividing it by 12, then by 3, then by 1,760 to get 276.446. So it just says to the nearest mile. So I do not need to include any decimal values. And this would be the amount of miles.